Hello again. In this video I'll present to you two new rack extensions from Hammer, released in the Propellerhead shop around Christmas time of 2013, the ModStepper and the ModSweeper. As usual from Hammer, we're talking about control voltage devices useful as tools for creating a working performance setup. The common purpose of both devices is to enable you to set the level of a control voltage from your MIDI keyboard by using MIDI tapper as the trigger source for moving the level up and down. Thor or Kong can also be used, while MIDI tapper, however, is especially fitting for this. Both devices have 6 buttons and 1 knob, and finally a LED bar showing the current output level. The buttons are essentially used to move the output level up or down, and come in 3 pairs, while the knobs work more differently between the devices. Now let's add some more sounds here, so we can better hear the changes we apply to the subtractor filter settings. That's better. Well, in some sense. Now let's look a bit more closely at the details. I think we'll start with the ModSweeper. While you press the up or down sweep button, you tell the output to move in that direction until it'll go. To be honest, the buttons themselves are mainly for testing and can at sometimes be a bit difficult to hit. With the step buttons, you move the output in small steps. For the ModSweeper, each small step is 0.04 volts on the unipolar output. The jump buttons will immediately take you even further along the output scale, 1/5 of the scale to be exact, which is 0.2 unipolar volts. Now we'll take a look at the sweep time knob of the ModSweeper. Let's check out the extremes here. By turning up to the longest possible sweep time, pressing the up or down sweep button will slowly and gently move the output level. Bringing down the sweep time to a fraction of a second will be useful if you want to quickly sweep from end to end. By the way, don't be fooled by the limited number of meter updates, which are 10 per second. The actual output level changes almost every millisecond, giving you a very smooth envelope. I've been using the front panel buttons for now, but for each button there is a modulation socket on the back panel, and those are what you will really want to use for activating the ModSweeper and ModStepper. In this setup, I use 2 MIDI tappers to control the modulation inputs from 2 MIDI keys, as I will show you later, but feel free to use a Kong or whatever suits you. Looking into the ModStepper, we will now find out some differences. The first pair of buttons is now named full, and pushing any of these will indeed set the output levels to full N, up or down, immediately. The step buttons of the ModStepper will always switch to the next step, just 1 step at a time, no matter how many steps you set to the scale. Over to the jump buttons. These will, just like with the ModSweeper, move the output 1/5 of the scale. How many steps that will make depends on your total number of steps, which leads us to the number of steps knob. This setting has a range from 1 to 32, making the ModStepper suitable for most stepped settings of other devices. For a selector with, for instance, 6 different values, you should use 5 steps. When there is no modulation input for your target selector, you will have to utilize one of your combinator's CV inputs. Now let's take a quick look at how MIDI tapper is connected to ModStepper. We simply use the default patch and only set the wanted tap key, and as you can see there are 3 output sockets with cables attached. Turning to the back panel, we can see where those cables go. The MIDI tapper static press output goes to the ModStepper full up input, staying high as long as we press the tap key. The MIDI tapper 1 tap envelope output goes to the ModStepper step up input, so single tapping will trigger step up. Finally, the MIDI tapper 2 tap envelope goes to the jump up, so that a double tap on the MIDI key will give a 0.2 volts jump upwards. The MIDI tapper for the downward movement of the ModStepper is set up exactly the same as the one we just looked at. And so are the two MIDI tappers for the ModSweeper. Except the tap keys are chosen differently, of course. A combinator patch similar to this one is available from the Hammer product page. The mangler I'm using here is not included in the download patch, but instead two subtractors. Now that I'm demonstrating the use of MIDI key control, I must mention an additional feature of the sweep input pairs of ModSweeper and of the full inputs of ModStepper, something you cannot do with the buttons. When you trig both up and down at the same time, the output level will go directly to the midpoint of the range. This can be especially useful when you use the ModSweeper for modulating a bipolar input of a device. In the programmer window of the combinator, you can, if you have good eyesight, see what MIDI keys are pressed to trigger the filter changes you can observe on the subtractor. On the back panels of ModStepper and ModSweeper, you will find 4 output sockets, one each for normal unipolar, inverted unipolar, normal bipolar and inverted bipolar. I refuse to go into details about why I didn't create a more correct version of this melody that is playing. It could be laziness, reluctance to the song itself, lack of time, or a bad memory for melodies. It could be a combination of all of these, or it could be something completely different. But no, I won't go into that. And now, the only thing left for me is to wish you all a merry step tap and an happy sweep year. Oh my god. Oh dear.